And we're back. Okay, so that was interesting. Don't know what that was. Don't know what caused that. Because our signal showed excellence. Very interesting. I'm learning a ton about this stuff. So anyway, but we're back. Uh, it happens. But so some interesting stuff. You know what though? When stuff like that happens, and seriously, I did not plan this, but Forrest Frank. I don't know if you saw this, man. Forrest Frank. He was skateboarding. Did you see this? If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. He was skateboarding, broke his back. Came up with a song called Lemonade. It talks about resilience. It's a great story. By the way, it's doing amazing right now. And of course, he's taking the best out of a bad situation. Great song by Forrest Frank. Lemonade was not actually where I was planning to go with that. Uh, and But I was talking about Seattle Mariners, 1995, 30 years. It was a great year. Still the Kingdom. Did you ever go to the Kingdom when you were, if you were ever in Seattle? Did you ever go to the Kingdom? It didn't even have to be for a baseball game. I went for baseball, football, soccer, basketball was done there at the time, and also went to Billy Graham there. He had one of his crusades at the Kingdom. It was very cool. I don't remember. I was there a couple of days, and but that was a bummer. Hey, listen, if that ever happens again, where I'm off for a minute, stay around because I appreciate you, and it's always fun to be able to do this. And anyway, it's kind of interesting stuff. There's a lot happening with this, and it's a lot of moving parts. And you know what? I want to check. See, this is why we're this way. It's we can do this kind of stuff. And I don't know if it was, and I should have done this. How about we do this? We're going to shut our internet. We're talking about joking about the internet. I have a ton of stuff up right now. And so what we're going to do, we're going to shut some of that off. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to see if we're on air. It says we're on right now. Um, there we go. And we'll see if we're still live. And this is kind of fun, isn't it? We are live. Let's see if we're live on this one. This one says I'm live. I'm one watching. Well, it's not working. So maybe I'm not live. Oh, there I am. This is kind of fun, isn't it? We are live. See if we're live on this one. Yeah. It says watching. It's not working. So maybe I'm not. So see, I can have my own fun doing my own stuff. Anyway, it's great to have you along on the morning break today. And I really wanted to come and talk about some of that stuff. 30 years, and it's crazy to think. And so here's what the other thing I wanted to talk about. There's a bunch today, and see, I actually even got notes. So proud of myself. And so we have a lot of things to talk about, but I want to talk about something because we've talked about the 30 years, the AOL thing, 30 years for Mercy Me. I think it's important, and my friends and I have been talking about this a ton, and it's that, what legacy are you leaving? What legacy are you going to leave for people? And what is your legacy? Just think of Mercy Me, 30 years from Mercy Me. What legacy are you leaving your family as far as your faith? What is the one thing that you want to have left when you leave, when all's said and done, when God, calls you home? What is the one thing that you want to leave as a legacy? And for me, I think my legacy and what I want to leave is, hey, God, I want to point people to Him. And I want those people that know me to know that as a Christian, we can have a super amount of fun, and that we can be impactful to our community, that we can show the love of Jesus to those that, you know, may not love us back, and that's okay. And so I think those are kind of the things, legacy for me. And I think you get to a certain age and you start to really look at the legacy thing as far as what in life am I doing? It's like this, okay? You're with me on this journey. If you're watching this on replay, um, which is cool. I think we had a total of, and this has not been announced. So you're like part of the inside circle. This has not been announced. We haven't done anything on social media. I don't talk about it on social media. I don't feel comfortable enough yet to talk about it on social media because I don't think it's good enough. I mean, we just had an error today. You saw that. Um, but I want your suggestions. What do you want to talk about? What morning break? The idea behind it is 30 minutes, get a chance to grab some coffee, hence me having coffee. By the way, did not realize I was going to be like color combo. 7 weeks coffee, by the way. Go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV when you're ordering it. And their coffee is amazing. So, life changer on the coffee thing before we get back to legacy. Life changer got for my Keurig. I got a one of those little baskets, which I heard never worked. And I got to be honest with you, most of them I don't think work. Um, my wife, who's amazing at finding great things on Amazon, went to Amazon and found this. Uh, they're like little baskets that go in your Keurig, and it's really interesting for me because I love to grind my own coffee. I like fresh ground coffee, and when I did this, I will tell you very honestly, and I'm one of these people that if you start watching the show, you're going to find out I'm very transparent. Sometimes a good way, and sometimes a bad way. Sometimes people get uncomfortable with how I look at things, but I really do love freshly ground coffee, and I was wanting to do that with a Keurig, and here's the reason why. And if you're a coffee person, you understand this. I love coffee in a in a in a pot. It's good. The problem for me is coffee in a pot means I can't drink it fast enough because I'm not a gulper usually. I'm a sipper. And if you're a person that knows the difference, like there are people, and I've heard stories. I never met my grandfather on my mom's side. I never met him, but he used to drink the coffee so hot and so fast that the steam would come out of his nose. I'm not that person. I don't like it that hot, and I'm also more of a sipper. I will do work. I'll be sitting at my desk and I'll sip my coffee, and I like it that way. I like the ability to be able to, just take a moment and enjoy it. And I think that comes too out of slowing life down. So my wife and I were talking about this last night actually, and how I think that as Christians, we have to become more intentional on slowing our life down. And because both of us, my wife owns her own business and I have my own company. My wife's an attorney actually, so there's stress of that and that comes into it also. And I think that the smartest thing is to become more intentional. And I know we've talked about this on our podcast, which, by the way, that's a quick plug for our podcast. Our podcast is available at abundanttv.com. Download the app, and there's, oh, so cool. Friend of mine, Molly. And if you don't know Molly, by the way, she texted me. Molly does a show, Bigger Than Me, on the Abundant TV network. You need to check that out. It's a great show. But slowing life down and really taking the moments, like we spend, and I don't say this to brag. This is not me going, "Oh, well, look at us." I'm just telling you as um a person who's now lived a life and has done being a Christian almost his. Um, it's amazing when we slow down to intentional. It's when God talks. Totally does, and totally changes everything. Um, and I don't know. Some of the things that I look at and I want to share with you. By the way, check out our podcast. By the way, you can download Abundant TV app for your Apple or your Android devices, or if you want to download it and watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV, you can do it on all of those locations, and we would love to hear from you on that. And it's incredible to be intentional, and I want to stress that. By the way, is in life, I think for me the one thing I'm really super learning is to be intentional is so important. Intentional in the things, in the friendships I have, and I'm one of those people. And by the way, I have to check my time. Cool. We started a little late today, and we had kind of the situation with the internet, so we're going to go a few minutes longer with the morning break. But I'm intentional in my friendships too. Being intentional in your friendships is super important. How many people, and I'm going to raise my hand on this, how many people go, "Hey, listen, I have a desire to be your friend," and I do. There are people that I desire to friendship with, and then they like ghost you, and you're like, you feel bad. It's like it's on you. It's really not. It's a whole God thing, and I'm learning that too, and I'm trying to get through that. And so anyway, that's what, man. It's starting to sound like a therapy session. Anyway, but that's oh so cool. Other news, by the way, today, and I think this is neat because I love Brandon Lake, King of Hearts, his song. Now, not on the Christian chart, but it's number 7 on the top Billboard Top 200. Congratulations to Brandon Lake. Love his music, love his heart. Uh, you can come at me in the comments if you don't like Brandon, and that's okay. You don't have to. I do. So we don't all have to like all the same stuff, right? I mean, how incredible is that? It's kind of like, we all have different life experiences. And if you caught the first half of the show before it went away, AOL is closing its dial-up service. So see, I have a different experience than you do there. I was around for that. We had dial-up. I had an AOL account. To me, which is crazy. And of course, then the movie You've Got Mail comes out. Everybody, and I was a terrible emailer. I very short emails, still to this day, very short on my emails, but I was really good at the messenger thing. And then, and now I'm going to age myself even more. Do you remember? And now that I look at it, I think it's very cutting edge. Do you remember when Yahoo had Yahoo voice chat, and they had chat rooms? You could go to these rooms and hang out. I mean, this started like 2000, somewhere around there. I don't remember. And I remember downloading Yahoo Messenger and having that. Now, of course, everybody remembers the whole AOL, the AIM Messenger. Oh, that thing was terrible. It would stick, it would freeze, and then you'd have weird people sending you messages, and you couldn't. There was no controls to it. It was out there, and so anyway. But that's a whole topic for another day. But loved Yahoo Messenger. I made some friends. I'll tell you this. So I made some friends on Yahoo Messenger in that early area of Yahoo Messenger before it also kind of just went and faded. That I still have today. I still have um goodness, about 3 or 4 people, maybe more, maybe 5, who I met. talking 25 years ago, 24, 25 years ago. It's more than that. Holy cow. It's probably 7 or 8 of those people that I met through that time. And so it kind of all ties back to, of course, what we talked about and legacy and how legacy works in your life. And those people have spoken into my life. They've also been there for me and prayed with me, which I appreciate so much. And they've also seen all the ups and downs of me getting married, which was exciting. I think for most of those people that were in the Yahoo chat during that era, probably questioned whether I would ever get married. But we had Christian groups on there. We had a lot of fun. We used to go to this one room, and not everyone was a good singer. I'm going to be very careful here what I say, but not everybody was a good singer. But we had some good times. We had some good worship music. We had people that were excited about being in there, and man, it was so much fun to do and to experience other Christians. And I know it's hard for people now, and for if you're under that age, if that was not your era, um, you don't even think of this, but we thought of the fact of how cool it was that I was at the time living in Seattle, and I had friends who daily I knew what was going on in their life, and they lived in Atlanta, Georgia. They lived in North Carolina. They lived in um, Ohio. They lived in Michigan, Kansas City, Missouri, and I can't think of all the different places now. And I'd be remiss because I'll miss somebody. But you had all of these people connecting together, and then you could message each other privately. So um you could like say, hey, listen, we're starting a private room, which was a big deal. If you got invited to a private room, that was cool. Wow, this is not what the plan for today's show was at all, for us to relive that era. But if you lived in that era, drop a comment. Hey, listen, if you were a Yahoo, now Yahoo also had, and I always found this one to be fun because I was a sports guy. They had a football chat room, and I played fantasy football in there. By the way, a couple plugs then. We'll do this really quick. One, I have a couple openings in my fantasy football league that I started in 2004. So I have a couple openings. So if you play fantasy football, cool. Love to have you come hang out with us because season's just around the corner. We're super excited about that. You can also while you're watching football, drink some 7 Weeks coffee. Yep, that stuff's good. 7 Weeks coffee. Go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV when you order. We'd appreciate it. But so football season around the corner. You've got NFL, which I love NFL. Got college football, which I love college too. I have always been a University of Washington Huskies fan. I moved to Ohio now. Gosh, next week it'll be 4 weeks. 4 weeks, 4 years since I moved here, and I've become an Ohio State fan. I love Ohio State. In between there, I'm also, and I can say this openly, as also an Alabama fan. Um, I was very blessed to spend a bunch of time down there. I have a radio station in Alabama, so I do get a chance to go down there and spend time down there. But really became an Ohio State fan, and probably one of the few people that looks at it differently. It's fun, and for a lot of these Ohio State fans, they don't realize how lucky they are. Because I mean, University of Washington, we have had some great teams, but we've also had some bad years, like where we lost to bad teams, and we were bad. But Ohio State, they just turn out great team after great team after great team. They've got great players. Um, I'm interested, and this was not the road we were going to go down, and we're not going to always talk sports, but sports is a big part of who I am. I'm interested to see this year how the offense for the Ohio State Buckeyes is without Chip Kelly, who was there last year. Who I think it's fascinating. Chip, of course, a great coach at Oregon, and then comes in as offensive coordinator here. I thought that was super interesting, and I think that, I like that stuff. I like that stuff. Interesting to see how they're going to be there. They'll be fine. I mean, they shoot best team money can buy. Probably pretty close. Though Michigan, Dave Portier is out there helping University of Michigan get some players, and good for him. By the way, I love his pizza reviews. So I'm not coming for him, but I am an Ohio State fan. Actually, see, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little backstory. Not that you asked for it, but it's okay because I'm here. Is I grew up in Minnesota, so we didn't like Michigan when we played. When I was a Gopher fan, my dad was a University of Minnesota Golden Gopher, and so it was taught to me early on that we didn't like Michigan. So I went from there in Minnesota to moving to Seattle, and of course, University of Washington would play Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Went from that to being here in Ohio. So yeah, I will tell you though, Ann Arbor's a pretty cool town. I'll admit that I will tell you that part. Great pizza, great town, cool mall, really cool mall, good people. It just, and an amazing. If you ever get a chance to go to the big house, um, incredible. Drove by it. I have not been inside. One of my goals now that I live here is to go there, but just to drive by it is massive. I mean, and of course you're saying, well, duh, Rob. But it is, it's even, it's awe-inspiring when you're there in person looking at it. So, wow, what a show today. And I mean, a lot of fun. I've had a great time doing this. We're probably on this segment, well, probably close to 25 minutes of the morning break. Want to recap, of course, Mercy Me, new album out 30 years ago. They started, and today releasing a new album. I think actually it was yesterday. A new album out from Mercy Me. And also our other big story of the day, which got us going all over the place. AOL shuttering, done, over, dial-up service. Can you imagine? I was thinking of this when I said it the second time. Can you imagine trying to watch Netflix on dial-up? You can't. And I know some great rural services that are out there now. There's one in our area called Metalink, and so I was shocked when I read this because I knew Metalink had moved into the rural markets and had really done really well here in Ohio and Indiana. Shout out to Metalink. Haven't worked with them for a year, which was a lot of fun. We did boat racing with them last year, and you never know. We may have some other neat things coming. This has just been a lot of fun to do this. Will I do it again tomorrow? I don't know. I know I won't do it Thursday. But this is a lot of fun and it's really rough. And of course in my mind I immediately start thinking about the fact that yes, it's really rough, but it was also really rough. Oh, this is cool. I hadn't thought of this. Okay. So the theme of the day was 30 years. 30 years ago this year, I started a syndicated radio show called Southern Styles. It was a gospel music radio show. That's crazy. I hadn't thought of that. Yep, 1995. And there you go. So we started syndicated. We were not syndicated prior. The show actually technically started in 94, the end of 94. But we went syndicated in 95. It was gosh, I believe it was May of 95. And we really pushed ourselves. And this is a story you didn't ask for. But we pushed ourselves as kind of a summer replacement. If you needed to fill something in the summer, and the show took off, and I did that show and was very honored to be the host of the show for 15 years. We did it until 2010. Um, and it was pretty incredible. Did over 500 shows in syndication, and it was a lot of fun. I jokingly tell people this, and this will close. I'm going to close with this story because I like this story. So I started the show, and at the time I owned a media company, And I started the show because I still loved radio. And at this point, I'd exited a radio station that I had worked for and was not doing radio, but just doing straight, basically just uh, ad campaigns for people, helping them get on radio, helping them get on TV, and all that kind of stuff. And um, 30 years ago, I went to my mom, who, by the way, would star in commercials with me. She was Lefty Wrong Way. And so she was a guy. People thought she would use a voice and sound like a guy. And my mom did that with me. And I went to her and I said, listen, I'm thinking of starting a music show. It's a 2 hour. Originally, it was going to be 3 hours, which was a train wreck. And I immediately stopped that. But originally, it was a 2 hour show. And I did this 2 hour show. And my mom, to tell you how long ago this was, we were putting it on CD and sending it to stations. You weren't doing the satellite thing. Satellite was way too expensive for a startup show like ours. And we were on satellite doing. I mean, we did end up having the show on satellite for a little while, but we started with CD. And my mom would sit, and I believe we launched with 3 stations, so it was easy the first couple of weeks. Well, the show grew so fast and was so neat that my mom would spend part I would record the show on Wednesday, usually, or Thursday. We'd edit it down, and it would go out that following Monday for the next week, which now sounds archaic in the world that we live in, but at the time, that was kind of the way you did it, hence AOL and dial-up and all the other things. But we would send the show out, and mom would spend part of her Saturday stuffing envelopes for me and helping me get everything together. And we used to highlight, we did all kinds of neat stuff. My uncle, we may get into that. We may, if you're, and seriously, I want to talk to you about this. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast or a video podcast like this or anything like this, I would love to talk to you. I have over 30 years in broadcasting, and I would love to help you. If you need something, contact me. You can get a hold of me at sales@abundanttv.com, sales@abundanttv.com. Would love to help you grow what you're doing. And I think it'd be fun. One more plug. By the way, yes, it's the same cup from yesterday. Oh, that's a funny story. Really quick before we go. So I like to use the same cup for a couple days. Grosses my wife out. Grossed my mother out until she passed away. She'd be like, Rob, you drinking out of the same cup? I'd be like, yeah. 7 weeks coffee. Go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV 10. No one, and I promise this, no one will judge you if you drink out of the same cup. Well, they might. I can't promise that. But we'll see you again next time. Don't know when it's going to be. Might be Friday, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll just see how it goes. But hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I want you to know this. This has been fun for me. And I appreciate your kind comments and your text messages. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Go out and have a great rest of your day. And this is